Drinking Bros. Put down the water and grab a fucking drink.
Oh.
What?
What? Wait, what is this? Is this me and Evan Hafer tonight?
Dude, this is just it's a tandem podcast. Ross Patterson, Evan Hafer. It's like a tandem shit. It's like a tandem shit.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's like we're facing each other, shitting, looking each other in the eyes. I like it a lot, Evan Hafer.
That's like a Marine Corps toilet.
Look, kids, welcome to Drinkin' Bros. We got a fan fave on the show. We got Evan Hafer. A lot of you have written in and said, "Hey, Ross, we loved all your one-on-ones with Matt and Rocco and Jared. Would you please do one with Evan Hafer and have him discuss his life and what it's like being a veteran entrepreneur?" We have listened to all your emails. We have read them. Now we're gonna go deep inside the mind, the balls, and the heart of Evan Hafer.
I can't wait.
I can't either. But you know how this works, Evan. We got to get some sponsors first, and then we're gonna dig deep into your life. First up, we got a Haven Lock. That's another veteran-owned company, by the way, Evan.
Is it really? Nice.
Yeah, it is actually. It is. They got started on Kickstarter. They raised over $100,000 for their lock. Look, a lot of people don't know it takes about 3 kicks to kick down a front door. With a Haven Lock on your door, it takes more than 50. If you want to keep your family safe, if you want to keep your wife, child, and dog safe, go to havenlock.com. Grab a lock, put one on the front and the back door because you never know what's going to happen. And if somebody busts through that door, go to tartarusordnance.com. Make sure you're stacked to the hilt full of home defense ammunition. They have all your home defense ammunition needs. They also sell firearms. They are a licensed firearm dealer. Evan, you've got a fancy symbol for that, don't you? FFL, is that what it is?
Yeah, FFLSOT, like 3s and 4s. And
you're goddamn right. And just in case you're into OPP, grab some Tartarus Ordnance in case a motherfucker did and slept with your wife and you got to blow them away. Also, they have 10% off of the promo code Drinkin' Bros, and you get everything off, including if you teach a tactical class. All of those rounds, 10% off with Drinkin' Bros. Next up, fan fave, StrikeForceEnergy.com. Yeah, thank you, Evan. I appreciate that.
No problem, buddy.
Yeah, man, I like it a lot. Strikeforce Energy is a lot of people say I drink it too much. They say I'm too hopped up on it. Yeah. They said I should cut back on it. I say hell to the motherfucking no. I say kick the can. I say grab the tastiest, tiniest little tin pouch of energy that you could possibly ever need throughout your day. It goes in waters. It goes in liquors. It goes in beers. It goes in any fucking liquid substance you can imagine, or you could just snort the whole pouch if you wanted to.
Just a quick little story about Strikeforce. My wife, as you know, she's pregnant. So I believe you know that. So my wife is pregnant. Well, she started up on Strikeforce a couple months before she got pregnant. Well, I was gone. So I just basically accepted the fact that Strikeforce made her pregnant because the pregnancy test said awesome. That's all it said.
Oh man, that is the fucking new slogan for Strikeforce. It made her pregnant. And it
didn't come up with a color. It just said awesome. I didn't even know that was an option.
It just said awesome. You're goddamn right. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com for all your energy needs. And I got a lot of them, kids. They got a subscription. You can be that's the easiest. You own Black Rifle Coffee. I've got a subscription to that. Strikeforce has a subscription. Type in the promo code Drinkin' Bros. You get 20% off your order. They ship not only in the entire world, but they've also got a huge 750 milliliter bottle with 100 squirts in it, and that's what I recommend. I've got one at each fucking house. How many houses do I have?
It's like a bottle of Jergens, just full of Strikeforce.
I know. Look, it works for that too. It'll make your boner stronger and have more energy. Rub some Strikeforce on your dong and get after it. Next up, we got CarnivoreClub.co. Look, it's fall. It's hunting season. It's football season. Nothing says fall like fucking boxed meats. They are the finest, tastiest meats cut, killed, and delivered in the whole goddamn world. They're already cured too. You don't even have to do shit. You can just peel the package open and rip into them. CarnivoreClub.co. Type in the promo code MANUP or Drinkin Bros, and you get 10% off of every box. If you want to talk about a fucking awesome gift for Christmas, or just for another dude, Carnivore Club is the best goddamn gift you'll get. Every time it comes to the house, I rip it open. Also, fun fact: it was the only thing that survived Hurricane Matthew around here. The delivery of Carnivore Club to my door. That was no lie, by the way.
Well, you're serious about your meat. We all know
I am. I'm always serious about my meat. So go to CarnivoreClub.co, type in the promo code MANUP or Drinkin Bros. Get 10% off your order. Next up, we got WarfighterTobacco.com. Big fan of those guys. They're 100% combat veteran owned. Put down the vaporizer. Pick up a fucking cigar like a man. If you're going to celebrate something, smoke a cigar. If you're mourning over a loss, smoke a cigar. If you're taking a shit, smoke a cigar. Go to warfightertobacco.com. They are made with Cuban seeds, hand-rolled in the Dominican Republic. They're the tastiest little cigars on the planet. Rocco is a co-owner, and they've also got a special Drinkin Bros line of cigars. Type in the promo code Drinkin Bros. You get 10% off of all your cigar orders, and their apparel's dope. A big fan of their shirts, by the way. Big fan of their shirts. Next up, we got A Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed. Can I get a horse noise?
I would do the horse. I would do it, man. I could, like, ew. No, I can't do it.
Oh, you can't give me a horse.
No, man. I'm not good at imitating animals. You know that.
That is one of your weaknesses. Before. You're great at a lot of things. Imitating animals is.
I can't do a Scottish accent, and I can't do a horse.
Yeah. That is definitely, that was on your resume, I think.
Yep.
Terrible at horse noises. Animal noises. Look, kids, go to Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, you name it. At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed is theirs. The first ever romance novel for dudes. It's the funniest book ever written. If you like Blazing Saddles, you'll love this book. If you like Saving Private Ryan, you'll love this book. If you like fucking Top Gun, you'll love this book. If you like Girls on HBO with Lena Dunham, you'll hate this fucking book. So don't buy it if you like Lena Dunham or Girls on HBO. Pick it up on audible.com. I do the Audible as well. Last but not least, we have the president and founder of Black Rifle Coffee on the show, Evan Hafer. You want to talk about it?
I would love to talk about it. So I started roasting coffee in the mountains of Colorado over 10 years ago.
10 years.
I refined my craft over the course of about 10 years. And now, we have Black Rifle Coffee. Today, we are a roast-to-order coffee company, so that means your order comes in day 1, we roast it day 2, and we ship on day 3, depending on whether or not that's a USPS shipping day. So we're a roast-to-order coffee company. That's my quick little plug on Black Rifle Coffee, and now we can kind of get into
it. Is because I want to get to the whole story of it because again, there was no lie. We probably got close to 200 emails asking if we could do an interview with you one-on-one about your life.
Well, I'm just glad that those 200 email accounts that I set up finally worked. You know what I'm saying? Right, get an interview out here.
Yeah, they all came through unscathed. I was wondering why all of them were partydick.net, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, there was a lot of those.
A lot of CAs in there.
I was like, dude,
giving you the impression that I'm immediately. There's a lot of dudes from Canada that are super interested in me.
Yeah, I was like, dude, who's
Dude
Party
Blaster
Dicks?
99?
Partydick79.gov. Like who? Oh, who is that?
Who is that guy? And why did the government give him that fucking email?
Yeah, why didn't he just use a private server? It would have been so much easier.
much easier
to run.
The Gmail is so much more convenient, bro. So much more convenient.
Oh, it is. Well, welcome to the show. Let's dive in. Where were you born? I know. A few episodes ago, we talked about your call sign was Idaho.
Yeah. So I was born in northern Idaho in a town called Lewiston, Idaho. So it's not any history on Lewiston because it's super fucking boring. But Lewiston, Idaho sits on the confluence of the Clearwater and the Snake River. It's about 28,000 people. I was born in that city, but I
that's
actually
it, huh?
I grew up actually in a much smaller town of 800 logging town called Weippe. So I spent about the first 6 years of my life in some logging town because my dad was a logger. And then we moved back to Lewiston, Idaho, and I spent the rest of my time there. In exception for, I went to University of Idaho in 95, so I left there and went to UVI in Moscow. So I moved a whole 30 fucking miles away, man. Big 30 miles away.
Wow. Did you walk it or did you?
Yeah, man. I fucking busted out of there, dude. I couldn't wait to get out. I was 17. I went to basic training at just turned 18. I went to basic training.
Did you graduate high school yet, or did you just?
Yeah. I graduated right after graduation. I took off and went to basic training down at Fort Benning, Georgia. And I was doing this thing called the simultaneous membership program. So I was doing ROTC and the National Guard. So I became an infantryman up there in Washington State National Guard, and then transitioned over to full-time university student. And
where at? What university did you go to?
I went to University of Idaho. I had a short stint at University of Washington, and then finished off at University of Idaho.
Okay. Did you graduate from there?
I did. Yeah. So I.
What was your degree in?
Back poli-sci.
Poli-sci. All right. All right. I thought you were going to say something, like art history.
Oh yeah.
Totally kidding.
No. I'm a huge art buff.
So it's just a huge
nakeds.
art buff.
That's what I call them. Nakeds, not nudes, just naked. Get naked.
Hey, send me a naked. All right.
Send me a naked.
Send me all your nakeds. So after you graduate, you go into the military full time after that?
Yeah. So I took the longer road, man. I was between my junior and senior year. I basically kind of went out to University of Washington. They had a better ROTC program. I was working nights at UPS, like slinging packages and trying to get my degree. And my dad was like, he took the harsh line, dude. He was like, so you want money for college? Oh, that's cool. You should probably get to fucking work. That's basically what his line was.
Yeah, that's a lot of dad's lines. That's a lot of dad's lines right there.
That's the hard line, dude. So I was fucking like just humping all fucking summer long on farms, driving fucking tractors and slinging bales, hay bales, and just 16-hour days, all under the table up in Idaho, building houses and fucking just anything and everything that I could do to save enough money. So I didn't understand, because I was just dumb as shit, that you could take out loans, right? So my dad, unfortunately, was in that threshold where I wasn't like qualifying for like fucking Pell Grants and all kinds of weird shit. And so I was like, well, I got to raise all this money. So I was just like, making hay all summer long, to include doing military service and anything and everything I could. College was probably some of the most difficult years of my life, because
really?
I was working night. Oh fuck yeah, dude! I was working nights. I was working in the mornings. I had steadily fucking 3 jobs. I could barely keep a fucking C average. Like, it was nasty because I was completely sleep deprived. So in ROTC, there's this thing called advanced camp. You're supposed to go between your junior and senior year, and I actually got in a fist fight with another guy that I was in ROTC with. And I got into a small bit of confrontation, I would call that, with an ROTC instructor. And I basically made a comment about how he was a piece of shit. And he told me, he was like, you'll never be a fucking infantry officer as long as you're in my university. And at that point, I kind of had a bifurcation in the road there, Ross. A $10 word for basically there's a fucking decision to make.
Yeah, there's a fork in the road.
Yeah,
a fork in the road, Evan.
And I said, great, I'm going to go to fucking Special Forces Assessment and Selection. And I went between my junior and senior year. So I'm a big time college kid, like, fuck, I don't know, not 20 years old. And I showed up at Fort Bragg, went to Special Forces Assessment and Selection, made it. And came back to my ROTC, was like, I'm going to finish off, basically cancel my contract with the simultaneous membership program. And after I leave this university, I'm going to Fort Bragg to become a Green Beret. And So I finished a little bit. When I say I left there shy because I knew I was going to get a language at Special Forces qualification course, so I could come back and just finish off that. And
did you tell the guy? Did you tell the guy, "Hey, fuck you, I'm on top of the world"? Now?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. I came back, and most of my buddies were on the 5-6 year program because they're fucking idiots. And I wasn't. Like, I was just humping to get the fuck out of there. Like,
right.
As fast as I could get out of there, I wanted to get the fuck out. And so I came back and gave the first salute, which is a tradition for ROTC cadets, for a bunch of my buddies as an E6 Green Beret. And which was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
I'm on stage.
Did that guy shit his pants?
Yeah, because I called this asshole. I won't say his name because it's fucking unprofessional, but I call this. He's like, "You'll never make it," right? So he's like, "You'll never make it. You're too big of an asshole." And I was like, "Last time I checked, like that's not a disqualifying factor for being a Green Beret." And I not only came back, as a E6 Special Forces Green Beret, but I came back as a guy that actually did well in Special Forces, and I just I just behaved as usual, the consummate professional that I am. I just, kind of walked up to him and was like, "So, neener, what?" But in a fucking super, super profanity, like, "You're a piece of shit." And
right.
Look at what I'm doing now. Because he was passed over. He was getting kicked out of the Army at that point. I mean, he was just a fucking turd instructor. and I was just starting my career. I was like, I was a super and one thing that people like, and I don't know if they want to know it or whatever they want to know about me, but like, I was a really aggressive, highly confrontational, like very, very, very driven individual. I guess
you still are.
I still am.
You still are.
And so when I graduated from basic training at Fort Benning, I'd won every award. So I was like the soldier of the cycle. I was fucking platoon guide. I'd won like every award. I'd basically cleaned house on that place. I'd housed it, if you will. Right?
Yeah, you did. You're talking Ross Patterson language now.
Yeah, housed it. And so I was super fucking arrogant, man. And I was driven to only be a Green Beret at that point. I was like, I started doing like fucking super random deprivation exercises. Like, I didn't wear fucking socks for like 6 years. I didn't fucking eat certain foods. I wouldn't fucking drink. Like, I became like very monastic in a lot of different ways where I was just studying the art of war because that's the only thing I wanted to do. And I dedicated my entire being and every piece of my DNA to trying to become the best Green Beret that I could be. And that's ultimately what I did is I tried to basically dedicate every ounce of energy that I could past about 2001 is around the time that I graduated. And and as you know, there was a little thing that happened in 2001 and we got really fucking busy after that.
Yeah, what was that? Do you remember? Oh, that's right, 9/11.
Yeah. Just a little event called
9/11. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
speaking of which, we Matt and I were in New York City, and we were at this huge dinner, and we asked him, we were like, "Hey, what was it like around here after Trump won?" And he goes, "You remember 9/12?" That's what it was like. And I was like, "Oh shit, that's a great hammer to drop on somebody." You make me feel like 9/12 inside.
Yeah.
It's the day after.
A lot of us felt like that when Obama was elected. So
I know.
Welcome,
exactly.
Welcome to the party, fellas.
Yeah. Welcome to all your liberal tears. So what year did you first deploy overseas?
So I came back. I came back and went to the Philippines on my first rotation. And when I came back,
how was that? By the way, how was that?
I was rad, man. I mean, we were out with their version of the Rangers for several months. So I was out in fucking who knows where for several months, and the PI is what they call it. The PI, right? And we're training and working with their guys, man. It was a fucking great time. That's where I met a guy named Jeff Kirkham, which has been my business partner and one of my best friends for the last 15 years. And I linked up with my team, my ODA. We'd spent several months in the PI. We came back from the PI, and we got orders to go to Kuwait basically, and like we didn't have hardly any. I think we had something like 30 days from the Philippines to Kuwait in order to deploy for the preparation of Iraqi freedom. And so we had come back from the PI, and I you know what? I'm missing one in there. I was like PI and then Korea, and then from like Korea back to Kuwait, and then Iraq. And that was like, those years are kind of, I don't want to say a blur, but they're kind of a blur, man. Like, I was a young guy. I was catching every fucking deployment I could get on. Was hustling, man. I'm a fucking hustler. At the end of the day,
you are.
Like,
yeah,
that's what I do, man. Is just work my fucking balls off. And I made a reputation early as just a guy that you'll work my fingers to the bone and grind it out like with the best of them. And I got picked up with a really fucking great ODA, great company. It's not like it was a recruiting process, but it kind of was. And we went over and prepped for the invasion of Iraq early. So I was in Kuwait for I don't know, 8 months before the invasion of Iraq, just training and working with the Kuwaitis ready to go to Iraq. How
are the summers there? I hear they're remarkably mild. Is that true?
Yeah, they're easy, man. I mean, it's like the what is that? The winter birds or whatever, the snowbirds, right? It's the same thing. It's like Kuwait is like northern Idaho in the summertime. It's just 80 degrees. It's really, really special.
Yeah, now that Trump's in office, all the Canadians are calling them the snow Mexicans. So
the snow Mexicans.
That's so yeah. So you're looking probably at what, 115 in the shade there in Kuwait, for 8 months straight.
Yeah,
and then the invasion of Iraq happens, and what were you doing in that?
Oh man, so this was like the introduction to the rest of my life, right? The rest of my adult life. So that year, those months, basically, my team was tasked out to go work with a cool 3-letter acronym, the agency. And
you want to tell us what that is, or should I spell it out for the people?
No. So my team, we were tasked out to go to work with the CIA at that point, and I spent the next several months with these fucking dudes that were like incredible, man. They were like the most fucking senior, the most amazing, most talented fucking warriors on the planet. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of guys in SF that had a lot of combat experience. And there was Afghanistan prior to the invasion of Iraq, but not everybody got to go to that war. So there were a lot of guys that didn't, the invasion of Iraq was their first look at war. And all these guys that were in the agency were like super fucking senior. I mean, they were like really senior, had tons of experience, and it was this steep learning curve. And I was completely enamored by the fact that, these guys were wearing blue jeans in combat. I was like, this is fucking sick. These guys are badass. Putting a couple mags in their back pocket and just going, hey, you. Hey, Junior, let's fucking roll out and go do some shit.
That's pretty fucking intense.
Dude, it was rad, man. It was like, the invasion of Iraq, was fairly intense for a lot of different people, to include, my team. We didn't know. I mean, we had nobody knew, dude. We were briefed on like 20 different versions of this invasion plan. Like, nobody fucking knew what we were going to do, at least at my level. And, as I remember sitting in the team room one day, and we got this brief on how we were going to invade Iraq, and they were going to jump the entire fucking 75th Ranger Regiment into Baghdad and blah, blah, blah. And we were just like, that's fucking crazy. I don't know how the hell he can do that. 120 millimeter mortars can hit on that airfield, from anywhere in the city. And then we're like, that's fucking, God, I can't believe that. It's fucking crazy. And all of us are like, kind of like, what the fuck? And then the next sentence out of our mouths were like, how do we get on those planes?
Jesus. So if you guys don't know what's going on, how the fuck did anyone else know what was going on? Like the president and all that shit. Like,
dude,
where was that coming from? Yeah, where were the orders coming from?
Nobody fucking knew, man. Like now being part of like startups later in life, and seeing some of these fucking dudes and that were making government policy. I have no fucking clue about what real war is, like what it's like to invade a country. Hell, we hadn't invaded a country to take it over for since 1967. So hardly any of that brain trust was even left, and I can't really say that it was a brain trust.
Yeah,
and just the fact that it was just such a fucking chaotic event, and everybody every day was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what are we doing? It was like, we're going north. And, everybody was like, it was like the Cannonball Run with shooting to try to get to the north and into Baghdad. And so for us, it was like, it was very exciting. None of us knew what we were really doing, other than like there were plots on a map that we needed to move to. And we're supposed to, move forward and secure some territory, and then continue to move forward, secure some territory. We just had a ton of fucking questions, and the only thing that we could really kind of get to the brass tacks was we have to make order out of chaos, and we can only affect what a 12-man ODA can really affect, and eventually you just you get in harmony with chaos. And it's like a fucking massive river that you just go for a ride. And you can fucking sink, or you can swim and start navigating that motherfucker. And that's the only thing that we could really do, is just start navigating it.
Were you there when the Saddam statue went down? Was that you who pushed it over? Were you the final, final push?
No, man. I was not there. I stopped short in a town called An-Najaf. Little city called An-Najaf.
Oh yeah, big holiday destination.
Yeah, big holiday destination, and a lot of people that have deployed to Iraq will know exactly what I'm talking about. And we actually facilitated some of the first link ups with like just the fucking nastiest people in Iraq, because nobody knew what the fuck was going on. Nobody knew who the players were. Some people did, some people didn't. But honestly, it was just, you were awash with like blitheful speculation, like just fucking ridiculous shit. And I remember my team sergeant, great fucking dude, and my team leader, who was later killed a couple years later in Iraq. But we were sitting around going, we didn't really have a left or right limit. We didn't have rules of engagement, so to speak. We were masters of our own destiny. And we were looking at this and we were like, man, little resistance to a greater degree. Little pockets of, ticks here and there. Nothing really was going on. We just had this sense. And I remember all of us sitting there going, this is a fucking pregnant pause, dude. This isn't right. Like, something's off. And there was a riot in Najaf with a mullah that we were helping kind of move from England into Iraq, and which ultimately the death order came from a guy named Muqtada al-Sadr, which a lot of people will know is like one of the most dangerous fucking clerics in Iraq.
Yeah, I loved his earlier work though.
Yeah, he had some fucking amazing work earlier.
His earlier stuff was
great,
something to behold.
Yeah, he actually he was the one that orchestrated this assassination. I was there in the riot with my team, and anyway, so we did see this massive riot, and ultimately there was a warrant issued from Muqtada al-Sadr for that specific event later. But leading up to that, all of us on the team, I mean, we're just knuckle dragging enlisted men. We're like, this dude needs to die. He needs to go off the planet. And he had a small force, low contingents, like just fucking an easy target. We could have wiped that dude off the map. He became such a prominent figure later in the Iraq war that like every day I was kicking myself in the ass. Like, God, I wish we would have just pushed the envelope and put a bullet in that dude early on. But, the infinite wisdom of the leadership, they decided, not in the Army. This was like State Department politics horse shit. It was like decided, nah, he's going to live. He's going to play ball. And all of us were like, look, you guys are stupid.
Ice
You're
this motherfucker. Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
You guys are just dumb as fuck. And later in life, you're right. And it's like, you don't want to be right because he caused so much fucking chaos and just violence that you just fucking grit your teeth and like, you know what? I learned a lot from the invasion of Iraq, and I can boil it down to just because somebody sits in a seat of authority doesn't mean they know everything, and it doesn't mean that you should listen to everything they fucking say, because they are wrong, and they are wrong a lot. So what I learned was question fucking everything. Like question it fucking 3,000 different ways. And that kind of served me well, and it also served me wrong later in my career.
Yeah, so when did you finally leave and get out? What year was that?
Well, I came back from the invasion of Iraq, and at that point I had a job offer to go to work for the agency as a contractor. And I punched out in a sense. I stayed in the National Guard, and I went out and became a contractor with the agency early on in the war.
Where were you at? What country?
I was everywhere, dude. I was in Iraq. I spent about 5 years on the ground in Iraq.
Jesus Christ. That's a long goddamn time, Evan.
Yeah.
You know what? By the way, I'm gonna embarrass you here for a second.
Yeah, please.
Do you know to a man, every one of our close friends has said, including Matt, everybody has said, if you really want to know who the biggest badass is, it's fucking Evan Hafer. And I was like, we were like, what? Evan's the guy? You seem too nice of a guy. And they were like, no, Evan's the type of motherfucker who will wait underneath your bed for 26 hours for you to get home and then kill you in the worst way possible. I'm not going to press you on that because I know you got some nasty stories. But in case you're wondering if all your friends know, they fucking know, Evan. They fucking know.
It's much appreciated. I don't know if it's well deserved.
It is. Literally every single person has always been like, "Hey, man." I remember that we were in Sundance, and like this sounds so like after this, the stuff you just talked about, getting into like a Sundance Film Festival story. There was a guy there who was in the corner, and he was just like, he pulls me aside and he goes, "What's this movie about? This Range 15? It looks like military guys." I was like, "Yeah, it's all military veterans or whatever." And he goes, "Who's that guy over there?" And he points to you. And I was like, "Oh, that guy, that's Evan Hafer." He's like, "Was he in the military?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "That motherfucker could kill everybody in this room, I can tell." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's way too fucking calm for this shit. None of this is phasing him. He doesn't even care about the models from Maxim." And I was like, "Well, yeah, that's actually true." And then, over the course of getting to know you better over the last 2 years, that's literally everybody has said that about you. So that's funny. And again, I know you guys don't like to talk about how big of badasses you are, so I'm not going to press you on that or your fucking nastiest story and all that shit. But you spent 5 years in Iraq. When did you finally pull the ripcord and say, "All right, I'm going back to America"?
Well, I didn't, man. So I was sitting in a southern Iraqi city, and there was something called the SOFA. So the Status of Forces Agreement was signed, basically, which changed everything in Iraq. And at that point, America had basically decided once the Status of Forces Agreement was signed, we're pulling out.
Who was that? Obama?
And no, that was under Bush. Yeah,
okay.
that was a Bush thing, and. I'm trying to think exactly what year. I think Obama had just kind of rotated in, but that was something that was agreed upon earlier on.
07, somewhere in there?
Yeah, it was like 07, 08, but it was 09 when I officially left, and that was when the SOFA was signed.
Gotcha.
And but I was basically looking for a home, and I went to Afghanistan after that, and I spent about another 2 years on the ground in Afghanistan. Back and forth, and I eventually didn't necessarily call it quits. I had kind of spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. I had a totally different job, which I won't go into, and I was fucking burnt, man. I was like fried, like fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken, dude. I had combined deployments. I mean, I think I was rotating in like my 40 something deployment.
Holy shit.
And just I had said, I need to find a way out, so to speak. I was actually looking at saying, hey, you know what, I'm gonna fucking punch out and maybe go to law school and fucking run I have another company up in northern Idaho that does like river rafting and shit like that. And I was like,
right,
man, I'm gonna just punch out, maybe like go back and read fucking books and write poetry for a couple years. I don't fucking know, but I just need to get the fuck out of here because I haven't had a solid shit in like, a year, and I'm burnt out. I'm completely fried. I've had, 9 months a year of just, in war for the last decade. And I just decided I was going to come home and take a training gig. And I took a training gig back here in the States. And like I said, I won't necessarily go into that, but I developed a fairly advanced, technically and tactically advanced training curriculum, and doing like pistol, carbine, and a bunch of other CQB. Which
Matt Best says you're the best shot out of the group as well, by far.
Maybe at one time, I do a lot of desk shit these days, but I did. I mean, I've wielded a carbine professionally, like. That fucking dirty black rifle and I, like, we became best friends. And all through those years, I'd actually worked for another company when I was home because I had so much downtime. I don't know how to stop. Like, that's one of my biggest issues, is that I would come home and a lot of people would like say, hey, do you want to go relax or something? And I would go teach the Direct Action Resource Center. I would go teach breaching and CQB to like Marines and Air Force and a bunch of other guys that were deploying. So I would rotate back home and go straight into instructing more, like just teaching at the highest level, I guess, in the tactical industry. And so I was just learning CQB and dedicating my life to basically this art of close quarters battle. And it's a fucking very, very unique art. When you become so proficient at a skill, eventually you become an artisan at your craft. And that's like fluidity and motion and a bunch of other bullshit that I could go into. But I had basically tried to move to what I call an artisan level in this craft. I co-authored a book with my best friend Jeff Kirkham, the U.S. Army Combat Field Leaders Guide.
What's the name of the book?
Combat Field Leaders Guide. I think it's U.S. Army Combat Field Leaders Guide. It's in like PXs for military guys.
Is it on Amazon?
Yeah. It's on Amazon.
All right. All right.
Yeah. He and I sat down and we fucking jammed that thing out in I don't know, a year or something like that. I wrote the CQB portion of that, the close quarters battle piece, and I eventually got to the point with the United States government and Evan, basically, where I was fried, man. I mean, they got the last click out of Junior, so to speak, and I was looking for an out. And my wife at the time, and I'd been married before. I was married and divorced. I made the choice to choose combat over
marriage.
Chose
I was going to say,
over marriage.
You don't go through 40-something deployments and still keep a family. I can imagine.
No,
right?
No, and I mean, I had a baker's dozen of my close friends were killed in that war, and I just wanted to continue to go back. And honestly, I'm not like, not to take a negative spin. I never really thought that I was going to leave Iraq. I was kind of just committed to the act of like moving through this war called Iraq. I never really felt like, oh fuck, well, now that I'm leaving, I didn't think I was going to leave. And
right.
So, you're kind of a man without a job at that point. Fast forward to 2013, I needed an out. My buddy and I started a company called Twist Rate, which was a crowdfunding company for defense-related products because Kickstarter, Indiegogo, they don't do crowdfunding for defense-related products like firearms industry specific related products. And some the guys in the DoD, the military guys, the veterans that are out there, like they're some of the best innovators in the world, and their inventions just weren't getting out. I was working on this nanotechnology antenna at the time that was like flexible. You could spray it onto the fucking can and hook an EKG lead up to it. I was just looking for a way out. My wife got pregnant, and at that point I was like, you know what? I'm staring down. I'm staring down into the future, going, you know what? I'm approaching 40. My wife's pregnant. Do I want to continue to deploy? And there's a lot of guys, and I have a ton of respect for them. They continue to deploy. Those guys are fucking burnout. I'm telling you that. They're burnout. They're really just, they've been carrying a fucking heavy load for a long time. And I didn't want to be that guy to take that home, and take it home and subject my family to the pressure of constantly being gone. And not only that, but whether or not you're going to come home, and if you're going to come home, you're going to come home in a box.
Sure.
And so for me, I made the very conscious decision. What my business partner and I, we talk about, like, we were burning the boats. So we sailed off, into the sunset, and we burnt the fucking boats on the shore of business, and we went to work. And Twist Rate was my first business with him, and every day with Twist Rate was like a new day that we were learning something. And I had another couple business partners in that, and they didn't see eye to eye. And eventually I left Twist Rate, and when I left Twist Rate, I started Black Rifle Coffee. I had been roasting coffee for 10 years. And
it was just a hobby at that point, right?
Yeah, man. It was a hobby. It was a hobby. It was a love. Like, I love coffee. I love fucking great coffee. I'd tasted coffee all around the world. I had started roasting coffee so I could take it on my deployments back in the day. And what I wanted when I transitioned out, I wanted to be able to like find something that I was interested in that had a little bit more depth. I didn't want to just sling carbines for a living. Like, I could have transitioned over to like instructing or teaching or running, and I didn't want to say just. I just felt like, these guys are working on the range. They're working long hours. They're beating themselves up, and there's a life to that where you get to 50 years old and you're still throwing around fucking black rifles for a paycheck. And I didn't want to be in that position. And so what I made the conscious effort was, I'm going to go into coffee. At that point, I was like, I just want to start a coffee shop and a coffee roaster where guys can come in and order a fucking great cup of coffee and buy a fucking handgun. Like, that was my original idea. I was like, I want a place for conservatives to come in and talk about the shit that they're into, like libertarian politics, talk about rifles, talk about pistols, talk about anything conservative. And I wasn't seeing that. I could go to all these places, and I mean, I traveled all around the West Coast, like going to each and every coffee shop I could find. And it was just hipster place after hipster place after hipster place. And the culture of coffee is just filled with like curly Q mustaches and fucking tight jeans and single speed bicycles. And it's like, you guys are fucking weirdos, man. And it infuriated me because I'm like, you guys are restricting a high quality, cool fucking coffee. Because coffee has this taste spectrum that goes like this huge spectrum, and it's fucking a super cool experience as far as like, where you import it from and where you get your green and how you roast it changes the taste so much. And people were just geeking out, and I was geeking out on coffee. I just wanted to start a coffee shop, roast some coffee, and deliver it to my subculture, like the guys like me. And I was friends with the Art 15 guys, and I'd done their Freedom Roast originally. I'd roasted that here in Salt Lake. After that, I was like, hey, I'm going to move forward with Black Rifle Coffee, man. Like, what do you guys think? And they're like, sure, that sounds like a cool idea. I don't fucking coffee. Great. Dude, that sounds great. We'll support you. However you want to do it, fucking rock on. And I had flown down to El Paso when I had Twist Rate, and I met Jared and Matt and everybody, and I was like, these guys are just so fucking cool. and this is my subculture. And I had been kind of removed from that subculture in the sense of like, I had spent all this time in isolated, kind of in a clandestine capacity. So I was like really removed from my veteran community. And it was almost like I was around veterans all day, but I didn't understand like the big broad scope veteran issues of everybody that had served in the war. And being re-immersed into the veteran community was fucking incredible, man. I was like, dude, these guys know everybody in the veteran community. I've been isolated to such a small group of people for so long that it was fucking amazing. And they were so talented. Like everybody down there, man. You've been down there to Jared's house. Like,
yeah.
I got fucking blackout drunk like for 3 days. I passed out on his floor, and these guys are like playing guitar and bongos and fucking like inventing songs out of nowhere. And they're
I mean, they didn't even have furniture in the living room. It was all just band equipment. There was no couch, no nothing. And I was like, Jesus, man, it was. You would have thought they were in LA in like the fucking early 90s with Red Hot Chili Peppers or something. You were just like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was so fucking crazy. And I was like, and everybody down there was a vet. Everybody down there was a vet. And everybody in my group, they were like super talented with tactics and carbines, but we didn't have any art. There was no art. Like it was fucking zero. It was super utilitarian. And being immersed back into like this artistscape, so to speak, in the veteran community. And Jared Taylor is just like, he's out of fucking control. Like he's so off the spectrum with, his ADHD, but he's fucking hyper talented.
Mildly retarded, but kind of autistic. Yeah.
Fucking yeah, man. I mean, and so it was such an incredible experience. And, I fell in love with these guys. Like we became instant friends. And I had so much respect for each and every one of them, what they were trying to accomplish, like down to the core of their souls. They're fucking good people. And I didn't think you could find that in business, to be honest with you. I didn't think you could find it in business. I was like, man, there's good businessmen, but everybody's concerned with business, the bottom dollar. These guys weren't. They were concerned about each other. They were concerned about their brothers, the guys they served with. They were fucking just incredible guys. And that was quite literally one of the most incredible experiences, was just meeting those guys and going, these are the dudes I want to fucking be with. These are the guys right here. And so starting Black Rifle Coffee, it was like, I just wanted to do something with my buddies. And I started roasting coffee and we didn't really, it was just, I had a coffee company, I had a coffee company and they had Art 15. And eventually, I just continued to push Black Rifle Coffee to the point where, we've been able to basically, recruit these guys over, with me and Black Rifle Coffee, because I just wanted them closer to Black Rifle Coffee. I think they want to be closer to me, and got them to the point where they could move up to Salt Lake, and we could just continue to make more and more content. We could push the ball forward. And, I always tell people, man, this is socioeconomic business, which is we're trying to make social change through economics. And people are like, what? I thought you were just fucking business guys, like, printing t-shirts and roasting coffee. I'm like, not really. Like, yes,
there's actually a lot more really to it.
There's a ton to it. And it really is about family. I mean, for me, it's about family. Like it's my family. It's Jared. It's Matt. It's Rocco. It's fucking everybody. These guys are my family, and we have to take care of each other, and we have to take care of the community. And so now my whole trajectory in this is like, let's drive socioeconomic change through a high quality product and deliver fucking incredible product, whether that's a t-shirt or a fucking finely roasted premium roast order coffee, whatever that is. And when I say that, I don't want to deteriorate from the product. I'm saying, but it's really about the quality of the product and the quality of the people. And that's what this entire objective is. If I were to sew it up, it's the quality of the product and the people. A corporation doesn't have a soul. Like, it doesn't. a company that's run by real people, it does, because it's run by real people. And we do some incredible shit, like quite literally every day.
Yeah, I mean, now you're in what, a 40,000 square foot office?
Yeah. So,
you guys own it. You're not renting it; you own it.
We own it. Yeah.
By all appearances, it is top of the world. We have made it. Was there ever a really, really bad struggle and you're like a really hard point of Black Rifle?
Oh fuck, dude! The first year, I didn't take a salary for a year and over a year, meaning I couldn't. So what I always look back to is like the hardest points in your life are never going to be, for me, like they're never going to be as hard as, doing something in Mosul, Mosul, Iraq, when the chips are fucking down and you got it. It's not bottom of the ninth, bro. It's bottom of the ninth when somebody's got 357 to your fucking head and you better hit a home run. And like do that on a daily fucking basis and then come back to me, baseball players, right? So for me, I've always been able to judge things like in the worst case scenario, which is, I've got to fucking, sell some shit and to make some stuff happen. I've got to, become a hermit and learn how to properly structure a business, learn how to run a marketing objective, learn what fucking operations and logistics. And you have to be able to transcend your environment and your past in order to make change that will drive you into your ultimate outcome. And, that's just a lot of words that, you have to be able to achieve exactly what you want and be willing to sacrifice everything for it. And
but a lot of people don't do that, and that's the problem. And like the reason I asked this specific question, and I've asked it of every entrepreneur that's come on the show, is you see a successful company either online or on TV or whatever it is, and you automatically think, oh man, they're fucking rich, they made it, their lives have been amazing. Every story is the same, where there is trials and tribulations. Shit is fucking hard, and you're gonna go through some awful shit trying to own your own company. And it'll continue on for the end of time until you sell that company, right?
Yeah. I slept on the floor of my office. I didn't see my family. I felt like I was deployed. I had a thermarest mattress in my office. I would work until 3 or 4 a.m. I would go down for like 2 or 3 hours. I would come back up. I was doing, my wife helped me. I didn't have employees. It was like me, my wife, and then eventually I got to hire one other guy. But I was doing customer service. I was roasting coffee. I was grinding coffee. I was fucking packing boxes. I was ordering shirts. Like everything in Black Rifle was done for the first year of its existence was done almost 100% by me. And it was literally fucking 20 hours a day. And I had to put myself to sleep because if I wasn't, I would turn into a raving fucking lunatic within a couple days. It almost cost me my marriage. It cost me, hundreds of thousands of dollars when I say that, which is, I've sold, I had to sell everything in order to go into this. And, but it's no different than committing yourself to going to Special Forces assessment and selection. You have to commit wholly to whatever the project is. It doesn't matter. And you can't accept losing. You can't, because people will create obstacles and they'll become their own worst enemy. I don't create obstacles. I eliminate. From my perspective, my job is only to eliminate obstacles on a daily basis. And not only to do that, but to fucking crush them. And because what failure means is it's not just Evan. It's my family and it's my buddies, because
and it's your reputation, it's your brand, it's your company, all of it. And if you fail, that all of that ties into one another, and it's a never-ending string of disappointments. And if you don't almost essentially kill yourself on the job, chances are it's not going to get fucking done, and you're not going to be successful. So I appreciate you sharing that perspective with me personally. And I think, again, that is extremely important for the people at home, because I mean, shit, I have my own production company. There's lawsuits that pop up all the time. Fuck, man, the first, 3 or 4 years were hard as fuck. I got shingles after one movie.
Yeah.
I'm a young man. I'm a young dude. I got shingles, and it took me I got diagnosed by 4 different doctors who couldn't figure out what it was. They were like, were you shooting a movie in the woods? And I said, yes. It's got to be a spider bite. It's got to be some rare spider. I got tested, 80 times for, some rare fucking spider, Lyme disease, you name it. Nobody could figure it out. I finally had to go to a neurosurgeon or something, and they finally diagnosed with shingles. The guy actually asked if he could take pictures with me of the shingles because he'd never seen somebody that young with shingles because it's brought on by stress or whatever. And he was like, "Are you under a lot of stress?" And I was like, "Do you own your own company?" He was like, "No, I don't." And I was like, "Oh, cool," because it's fucking hard and it sucks. And yeah, I get shingles, and that wasn't the first time. Because once you have it comes back again. If you get under extreme points of stress, and that's what being a business owner and an entrepreneur is. You get to work 20 hours, sleep on the floor, and you can possibly get shingles, Evan. You can possibly get shingles. But here we are. You've got easily the best coffee I've had in my life, and that's not because I'm your friend. I've had coffee everywhere. You have the best coffee company there is. What you're doing for the veteran community is amazing. And it is possible out there, kids, if you work hard enough. You can make a difference, work with your friends, and have a profitable, successful company. And on that note, Evan, this is the point of the show where we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week.
Fuck yeah.
The Drinkin' Bro of the Week was submitted by Mike J. He wants to nominate his wife, Christy J, for the Broette of the Week, and here's why. She was a driver in a head-on collision when she was 16 where 2 people, her best friends, passed away. She sustained serious injuries from the waist down, amongst other areas, lost blood to the point of nearly dying. She survived, and she was told that she wasn't going to walk or have kids ever. Fast forward 17 years, dozens of surgeries later, she's walking perfect, even exercising. We have 2 kids. We are successful business owners, homeowners. She is the best wife and mother a man could ask for. I nominate her for Drinking Bro Ed of the Week because after all she's been through, she still manages to be a badass and inspire and help out others. She's a listener in the show, and she loves you guys as much as I do. Mike J, that was a fucking awesome story, man. I appreciate it. And cheers to Christy J for the Bro Ed of the Week. Congratulations to the both of you. And Mike, that was a great story about your wife. We don't get too many of those. And we appreciate you writing in and listening. And to Mr. Evan Hafer, president and CEO of Black Rifle Coffee Company. If you don't know, you can go online and get his coffee at blackriflecoffee.com. It is the best tasting coffee there is. You're helping out great dudes. It's all of our friends. And it's been not only a pleasure getting to know you over the last few years, but it's been a pleasure having you on the show tonight. So thanks for doing it, Evan.
I will say one last thing, which is, Ross, you are quite possibly one of the hardest working men I've ever been around, and seeing you on the set of Range 15 was inspirational. Like, it was fucking incredible.
Thank you very much.
Respect other hardworking people, and you are dude. You know how to grind.
You do. And it's funny. Like,
huge props.
I appreciate that. In our private lives, it's funny. We always gravitate toward one another and pick apart all of these business situations that we're in, and just completely level these people, because it's just, there's so many people that want to say they are doing something or hustling or whatever, and it's like, you're not hustling. It's like you're on that 20th hour sleeping on the floor. Like, you will never get it. And you can always spot the people who don't work hard enough in this life. Yep. You really can. You really can.
You can smell them like shit.
You can smell them like a Jared Taylor quick dump out in the middle of the show.
A quick dump out. He's on all fours right now in front of me.
I could smell him on the show. With that, go to Black Rifle Coffee, get some coffee. Go to drinkinbrospodcast.com. Grab all your sweet T-shirts. We also have a French press that is one of Jared's specialties that you can make that coffee in. For Mr. Evan Hafer, Ross Patterson, and JT&T is hiding somewhere underneath the table there doing the audio. We love you. We appreciate you listening. Good night, everyone.